Had a little bit of an issue come up on our linear. See over here that there's a lot of water coming out around there. So there's a crack in the frame. Taking a lot of water. So probably, I'm hoping it makes it to the end of this set, and then next week when it's done, we'll have to pull it all apart and get it welded up. Pretty big job because I have to pull both gearboxes off, all the wheels, and all the drive lines and everything, and get it separated before you can get in there and weld. So probably takes the better part of a morning or a day to get it fixed, but I have to do it. Well, the day has come to tear into the linear. Well, the day has come to tear into the linear and get it fixed up. It's actually pretty good timing for it because we've had rain over the last couple days, and it has to go down for a day. Today's probably the day to do it. So I think we'll jump in and see what we can do. So I've been looking at it, and I think I'm gonna leave the wheels and the gearboxes on. It's kind of in a saddle here that rotates around the main tube of the linear, and so I think if I take this top plate off and then jack the whole linear up, I can just wheel the wheels and the gearboxes out from underneath it, and I can get to the whole thing. So I think the first thing I'm gonna do is try to get it jacked up. The front wheels here, there's one here in the front and then one in the back. They're used to raise up the center, this main tower here, and spin it. We can spin it into the field next to it. So I'm going to use them to raise it up, and I'll stick some blocks underneath it and get the weight off the main wheels. Grabbed a bunch of wood blocks from our shop, and hopefully I have enough to get it secure. I think next I'll drop off this wheel here and the arm that holds it. ran into a little bit of a problem here. This pin that drops this arm off, I can't get it to budge. I think it's just too rusty and old and it's not gonna come out of there. So I think what I'm gonna try to do now is to just fold it up as much as I can, and then I might have to lift the linear up a little bit more, but hopefully I can get the wheel out underneath it. So I'm gonna give that a shot. I think it'll clear it. It'll drop here. Hopefully it doesn't drop too hard. There it goes. So I got the top plate off. I still need to get the wheels and the bottom saddle out of there so I can get in there to weld. Here, I'll show you what I have to weld. It's going to be right around this edge here is where it's leaking. I have to get this out of there so I can get in there. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it forward because I think that arm's maybe still in the way. And I have to come up a lot more to get it out. So what I'm thinking instead is maybe I'll disconnect these drive lines here and then I can wheel it backwards far enough to get in there. Okay, I think I should be good. Let's see if it'll roll. That might be far enough, actually. So this is where it's leaking from, around here. I was hoping to be more obvious where it was leaking from. I might have to go turn the water on. This looks a little rusty, but there aren't any cracks or anything in it. Oh, actually it's right there. That's where it is. It's on the main tube. Ugh. It's got a crack all along there. Don't quite know what I'm gonna do about that. So it's worse than I thought it was. I don't know if you could see it on the camera, but on the underside there's a crack that runs along the top here. And I think it's probably about 1 foot long. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. But I do know I need to get these wheels and tires out of here, because as it is now, it runs back behind where this bottom plate is. So I think I'm going to try to do that, and then hopefully a plan will come to me. Okay, I think I'll leave the wheels there. That's far enough out of the way. And it's just a nice extra safety precaution. In case these blocks tip over for some reason, then that's there to catch it. I'm gonna have to be underneath it, which I don't like doing very much, but it should be good. So now, just gotta figure out how I'm gonna weld that. So the problem is, the saddle for the wheels runs on this tube, and when I weld it, it's going to leave a bead across the bottom, and I don't think I want that, because you want it sitting nice and flush on the saddle. So I think what I'm going to do is weld it up and then grind off a lot of the bead, not all of it, because you still want some strength there. Grind off a lot of it. And then I think I'm going to put a thin piece of UHMW around the bottom here. It's a hard plastic, and it wears good when it's metal on metal. And I might even cut a little groove in the UHMW that'll sit, that the metal bead can sit in, and that should then evenly distribute the weight around the bottom. And I think that'll help too, keep this from wearing in the future like it does. I think I'll think about it a little more, and then probably go with that direction. I grabbed my generator, my welder, grinders, everything to get that thing welded up. I don't know how it's gonna weld. The metal's getting really rotten and thin, but I'm gonna give it my best shot. I made a call and there's a chance we can get a new tube, replacement tube, but I'm sure it's gonna be really expensive, so I thought I'd try to weld it and see how that goes, and if it doesn't weld, then we might have to go that route. But so right now I'm gonna take the wire brush and clean up the metal as best I can, and then weld it from there. This generator is a screamer. But it puts out pretty good power. Have to switch over to the 110 plug to use it with the generator. One more thing I gotta do is grind a spot for the ground wire clamp. It's not really a good spot on there that's bare metal. It's not welding at all. It's just too thin and rotten. So I'm waiting to hear back from the guy in town that might have a new one, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that he does, because we're getting a little desperate for one here. I don't know what we're going to do if there isn't. Only other thing I can think of is wrapping a new piece of metal around the bottom and then welding all the way around it. But I just think that whole thing needs to be replaced. So, waiting to hear back from that guy. So it's been a couple days since I worked on the linear. Got busy doing other things, planting and stuff, so I had to put this off for a couple days. And in the meantime, I think I came up with a new idea. I know I've changed my mind a couple times, but I think I'm set on this one now. I heard back from our parts guy for our linears, and he said that according to him, there's only one tube like this in the United States, and they wanted $7,000 for it, and it's back on the East Coast somewhere. I can't remember what state, but so we kind of ruled that option out, and it's kind of up to me to get this thing fixed up and going. But what I'm thinking is, my theory is that the worst part of this tube is going to be on the bottom. I think that's where all the water just collects and sits, and that's going to rust it out. And also, if you see here, I was looking at it, and you can see that that's the only part that wears in the saddle, is this low part, because all the paint up here is fine. It's just this low part that wears. So I think that's going to be the part that gets the thinnest, the quickest, and it's probably the worst metal. And so what I'm thinking I want to do is to cut like a 2 or 3 inch strip out of the bottom here, the whole length, and get rid of that bad metal, and hopefully that'll be high enough up here to where the metal's a little thicker and a little better quality, and I can weld it up fine there. And then I'm going to put in a flat piece going across to the other side and weld it solid all the way around, and then that'll take the pressure off the bottom part here. It's not going to wear as bad on the saddle, and it still will distribute the weight, I think, because the weight will be spread out up on both sides up here. So that's the theory anyways. I don't really know what else to do. It's kind of a, once you start cutting on it, it's a big commitment. You're invested in the project, but I think I got to do it. I brought a heavy piece of angle down, and I can stick it on the tube, and that'll give me a straight line to draw. And I can slide it around and do the other side, and that'll be 2 parallel lines, which I think will help. Just to draw a line, and then I can cut on the line. But I think that's the first step, is to cut it out, and then figure out how wide the replacement metal needs to be, and I'll go from there. I don't know how well the lines show up on the camera, but I got one right here and then one over here, and that covers most of the part that's wears. Another thing I noticed is that the seam of the tube, when it got welded up, is right on the bottom. So as it's coming across here, that's where it's going to wear the most also, because it's going to stick out and wear pretty hard. I don't know why they put that on the bottom. It seems to me it would have been better on the top or on the side or something. But so I'll go ahead and cut this out now and hope that on the upper parts there's going to be better metal. Probably not going to be much fun cutting this out. Trying to light my beard on fire.
Yeah, that's a lot of sparks on the face.
So here's part of the piece that I cut out. I think you can see just how thin it was getting right here. That's where it was rotting and cracking through. That's where I tried welding it, but it just melted right through. It's so thin. Something's kind of funny that happened. So the linear has 600 feet of hose. Maybe it's a little more, maybe 700 feet. And it goes to a valve over there. That's a water hose. And earlier this year, the valve has a bolt in it, and the bolt fell out. And I thought it just fell down into the pipe. But when I cut open this hole in it, I found the bolt sitting right there inside the machine. So I thought that was kind of funny. What are the odds of that? Well, I got it cut out. Now I just gotta clean it up a little more and get it prepared to weld. So the metal's quite a bit better down here. It's still not great. I don't know if you can see it or not, but you can see where the water sits down here at the low spot, and then up here is a lot better. I wish I could go up higher than this, but I don't think I should, because we need the round part down here to sit in that, so I think that's as much as I dare cut out. You just gotta clean off this bead, get it flush with this plate before I weld it, and then get off all the paint and get the metal as bare as possible so it welds decently. It's looking like about 4 3/4 inches wide, and the thicker the better, but it can't be too thick because then it's not going to weld very well to the thin stuff. So I'm thinking 3/16 is probably a happy medium. Four and 3/4 by 19 inches. I'm gonna run up to the shop, cut that out, bring it back down here, and I'll bring my welder and all the other supplies I need to weld it up.